One of the most valuable things about my monthly newsletter, The Writer Report, is that it highlights very clearly just how many different markets we have around Australia. Many commentators about real estate in mainstream media, notably economists, talk about Australia as a single market, and I think that very much creates a misleading impression for real estate consumers because we have many different markets, as we observed with just in the 8 capital cities of Australia alone in recent years, where we've had some markets rising very strongly, some rising moderately, some stagnating and others falling. So the August edition, the new August edition of the Writer Report, which we published this week, makes it very clear that we have these distinctions, these different scenarios playing out in markets across Australia. One of the feature sections points out that right now we have, while we have a wind down, generally speaking, in the markets now, 2 biggest cities, Hobart's still going very strongly. Canberra is showing increasing signs of rising. Perth is moving into recovery mode, and we have cities like Adelaide showing increasing signs of uplift. And then we have in regional Australia some very, very strong rising markets. So many different scenarios playing out right now across Australia that we think real estate consumers need to know about, and that's highlighted in one of the feature sections at the front of this August edition of the Writer Report. We also have a feature where we look at some historical research published very recently by Property Investment Professionals in Australia, PIPA, where they look at the past 30 years of price growth in the capital cities and divide the last 30 years into 5-year periods and highlight where the greatest growth has been. And what that shows is that it's very rare for a single city to dominate our markets. We might have one 5-year period where Brisbane has been the city with the greatest growth. The next 5-year period, it might be Darwin. Then we'll have Melbourne leading in another 5-year period. The most recent one, it's been Sydney. But if you go back a couple of 5-year periods, it was Perth, which in the last 5 years has been going backwards. But in the period from 2003 to 2008, it not only was the national market leader, but it had the strongest price growth of any 5-year period in the last 30 years. In fact, the growth in house prices that Perth experienced back then in that 5-year period was almost double what Sydney's done in percentage terms in the last 5 years. So then we turn to the state-by-state sections. Every edition of the Writer Report has a section on each state and territory, focusing on what's happening in the capital cities and also in some of the more notable regional markets, the trends there as well. And that again highlights just how many differences we have in the markets across Australia. Canberra is looking increasingly strong. We have growing evidence that the Sydney market is winding down, but that regional markets in New South Wales are doing very well. We have Tasmania, Hobart and other parts of Tasmania still experiencing a property boom. Growing evidence that Adelaide and South Australia are starting to rise both as an economy and as property markets, and Perth entering into recovery. Encouraging signs that maybe Brisbane is going to do a little bit more than it has in recent years as well. So all these different scenarios playing out, it's all highlighted in great detail with good commentary and quality analysis in the August edition of the Writer Report. If you're not getting it, you should be. So take advantage of the opportunity to get it and read it and be better informed, certainly better informed than you'll be if you rely on newspapers and other forms of mainstream media, where I think most of the content is misinformation. That's it for now. Terry Ryder from hotspotting.com.au signing off. I will talk to you again soon.